Hello and welcome to a new episode of our program On the Hot Seat. Today we have a very exclusive interview with someone who is very professional and has very long experience in the field of correspondency and also as a writer. He's a member of so many different prestigious organizations. We're going to get to know more about him. Tonight we're going to be interviewing exclusively Mr. Volkhard Winford, who is a Cairo Foreign Press Association. He's also a writer in one of the biggest German magazines called or translated as the Economic Week, and the co-founder of Al-Multaqa, which is the Egypt-German business correspondence. Thank you very much, and I hope I pronounce all these. I know you have a lot of other titles, which is very impressive to have someone who's very professional in this field for a very long time. And I really don't know where to start. Where would you like us to start? Let's start all the way from the beginning of how do you see the world of journalism and media today, including correspondence and reporters. The code of ethics, how is it followed today?
Well, I would put it this way. 100% clean ethically based media do not exist. In the meantime, be it the West, be it the East, be it the Orient, anywhere, 100% reliable, clean, in parentheses, picture you cannot get. It's a question of proportion. So, what you call in Arabic a tanasub. So, but after all, let's speak of Egypt. The Egyptian press went through, and still is going through, an interesting phase of being reshaped and due to the political situation, which changes since decades. When I came to Egypt in 1955, it was revolution year number 3. So in the days of Gamal Abdel Nasser, the British still had a military presence in the Suez Canal zone. So this is one thing. In the meantime, the press in those days was, well, very much government regulated. There was no...
It was authoritarian, more likely.
Yes, of course. But, I mean, the circumstances brought it with it. In the meantime, in the days of Anwar Sadat, there was a certain, let's say, opening. First of all, liberalization of economy, which went very far, maybe too quick, but whatsoever. Otherwise, you wouldn't have certain problems which you still suffer from.
Yes.
Because most of the problems people speak about and say it's Sisi. No, Sisi has inherited a lot. So, come on. So I do say, yeah, as far as the press is concerned, magazines, TV. When I came, there was no TV in Egypt, by the way, so I remember 6 decades. So under Sadat, there were the first signals of a party press, because Sadat allowed the formation of political parties. I remember him. I was present as an observer in the People's Assembly, the parliament as it was called in those days. And he said, "Oh, Ibrahim Shukri, get up. You are an old friend. I command you now to shape a political party which should be an opposition party." Yes, I want to. So these were the days. I remember it. I can read it later, a year's time in my memories. But this shows how it went. And then he had his own paper of his newly formed Labour Party, and others followed. Sadat was very much against the Wafd Party for historical reasons, but even they later on, especially under his follower after his assassination on the 6th of October 1981, was followed by Hosni Mubarak, and he gave more liberties to the formation, to the creation of new press media, especially written media, printed media.
It's 5 o'clock.
And TV as well. No, TV is overtaking everywhere in the world. But still, books didn't disappear, so their prognostics were wrong. So, alhamdulillah, I would say. But the press got quite free. I remember there were astonishingly critical articles of the president himself, of his son. So, but merely in the Arabic press, and in the media, in the Arabic media in Egypt. So foreigners were not very much aware of that. So this continued, of course, after the revolution. And even today, when I can show you today's papers, a lot of criticism. So I do not understand how some of, well, analysts claim that there is no press freedom at all. No, there is much more than we had before. Yes, you can always compare for after, but I must say, if you read what Ibrahim Isa writes every day in his, what is it, Al-Maqal, his newspaper, is quite unbelievable, or others. So this doesn't do, still we don't have yet that extent it might be in Sweden or I don't know what, but still I tell you, quite a number of Western, especially, Western media, and either they misread developments and evolutions and even revolutions without E and with R. But I think this is due to a very important fact, two important facts. One, the Arabic written and Arabic broadcasted TV and printed press media are not really followed as they should be. So there is a kind of lack. I give you one example. I was present when the revolution broke out. The day after I was in Tunis and I witnessed the Tunisian revolution. Directly came to Cairo, stayed 16 days in Tahrir with everybody else, witnessed, saw, and. Then on the 30th of June, I was present, I participated in all our places. And some, even those whom I knew, colleagues of mine, wrote completely different things. They didn't write what they saw, at least to a far extent, not all, but some. And I talked to them. You see, being the chairman of the kind of Foreign Press Association does not mean that I tell them what to write, what not to write.
Yes.
And there are hundreds of international media accredited in Cairo, and most of them have their correspondents or even offices, some, but it's a question of finance. And they cooperate with Egyptian journalists who work for them.
Yes.
But in the meantime, some, much less than before, insisted that the events of June were kind of military coup. No, they were not at all.
Yes.
In the meantime, it was very clear and evident, more than one proof. And even U.S. Foreign Secretary made it clear. It said, well, it took me time to understand that the alternative would have been a situation as in Syria. He said it in person. So I say I expect of journalists who are specialized for covering the country to be very careful in reporting what such very decisive analysis.
Yes, so you've mentioned a lot of very important focal points here. Let me ask you more specifically about the broadcast. Now you said today, definitely after witnessing all these years, there have been dramatic changes in press and in broadcasting, and it is absolutely towards freedom today. Yet, from your own personal opinion, and again as the chairman of the Cairo Press Association for long years, Do you think that there is a deterioration in, or it's deteriorating in terms, broadcast I'm talking, in terms of the quality of content that is being presented, or the potentials of the broadcasters? Maybe most of them are not really mass media backgrounds, and that is causing a problem. Maybe possibly the political agenda of the channels that they work for that would determine
that does play a
what
role.
is the red line and what is the limitation of what they believe is freedom. How do you express this?
Well, I would put it this way. Some people like to exaggerate. You always find, especially more or less younger generation, journalists would like to prove themselves and how to compete with those who have the knowledge and the experience and witness and know. So they concentrate on the exciting news. And this quite often,
The sensationalistic
quite often,
news.
yes, of course, lack the veracity and certain, sometimes, but I say this often, to publish wrong news is bad enough. But if there is an important news, everybody should know, and you withhold from printing it or from broadcasting it, that is even worse. So this does happen, of course. And, as you put it, some media, put it this way, be they Egyptian media, Arab media, or foreign media, so are depending on foreign finance to a large degree. And of course it has a certain influence, it is quite clear. But after all, the quality of those who write and translate sometimes even that, and make the analysis and interviews. There are some excellent Egyptian journalists, to be very frank. But I mean,
they don't
you cannot make a
necessarily
rule.
need to
You
be
cannot have a rule.
broadcasters.
You don't have a rule. They are more or less badly paid if you compare it with others, which is quite clear. Not all, some. But I would put it this way. In spite of all, yes, of course, I remember, I know, and witness, there have been certain situations which I wouldn't have liked to happen. But after all, I must look at it from above altogether. The development is not that bad.
Yes, let's talk.
They have an open opinion.
Yes.
And you can read, you can write and say what you want. But on the other hand, even in Germany, which is very proud of its now very free press,
Yes.
the days of Hitler, I was born in his days, no need. But I tell you, or in East Germany, where finally there was a People's Revolution surpassing any Arab revolution later. No one was killed, but it led to the change of policy. The Berlin Wall broke down and Cold War ended. Germans were reunited. I say, I know what revolutions mean.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I see that we speak of revolution, that some of those who participated came up with, yes, against, yes, okay, but cannot always be against something. What do you have? What do you want? What are your programs?
Exactly.
And if you cooperated with the enemies of the revolution themselves, just in order to get a stronger voice, I don't say they are paid, maybe some are because they need, this is not the right way of behavior.
And now, how do you see the increase in the spread of false news with the use of technology and social media? When you mentioned Iraq, I don't know, correct me, you would know, of course, better, about that's when the Iraq war started. That's when they started this new revolution of journalism, where you would have the free journalist, anybody with a mobile phone who stands there can do the journalism job. Now videos are being sent to channels and newspapers through the video.
When the war started.
Yeah, but now social media plays a very vital role in the spread of wrong and false information. And for those younger generations who are not taught to learn, taught how to read newspapers and to follow magazines and to have role models of older journalists.
Even children start.
Yeah, they start believing actually and stating as a credible source the social media, which is a disaster.
I wrote 2 articles on it.
Yes, please tell us about them.
To make it short, I do believe that what you just now mentioned is a real deep-going, root-touching danger.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some people, you call them educated, that depends on your definition of education,
mm-hmm.
at least well-read and go
Exactly.
around places in all languages. They get, let's say, 80%, and they want to depend and do depend 80% of the news receiving through these social media,
mm-hmm.
as you call them. And that is a serious danger, because who stands behind them? For example, there are certain rumors, sometimes in Egypt and other countries too, in Germany, but concerning German items, come on, the refugees and all of this. It is very easy to verify the truth, and if it's not the truth, that it's all invented. But who takes this trouble? Because I personally stopped, I do not even look at any services of that kind, or online services, which uncredible sources, come on. This is a danger. We only are starting to feel it, but this will go on and
exactly,
go on.
and it's very addictive, sir, as well,
of
because
course,
you
yes.
cannot help yourself.
Even the school children started to depend on it.
Exactly, and they don't even understand anything about what's happening in the country, but they would just recall.
I speak of myself.
What they see or what they read.
I close the door. I close the window. Mm-hmm. This sources, even if sometimes they are right, or even I often right, depending
it's
on
not
what,
credible.
I make it easy for me. I
Shut
only
down.
depend on sources, yes, of course.
So it has to be an
sources which I know I can rely on.
Yes, but
and they do exist.
Yes, but the thing is that I
thank you for the question, because this is a very important item in all fields, concerning religion,
exactly,
concerning social behavior, concerning
everything.
A lot.
Exactly, and it's very. Me, myself, when I want to just be out of curiosity, see where's the source of information that these people are getting from. And then really strange websites who they call themselves newspapers, they call themselves magazines. And speaking again of code of ethics, which I'm sure that they don't have anything to do with it, and it's all about other agendas, even more beyond, far beyond commercial reasons. Who should be observing, or who should be able to bring these people to court, or to sort of, if they do any sort of mistakes, punish them?
I do think
who's responsible
there should be a sieve. As an Arabic, they لازم يكون في غربال. Yes, of course. But I think we will witness that. In Europe, we don't have it, but we start thinking of it.
Yes.
Although, I speak of Germany and of France, these media are not of that importance.
Yes.
They are there, but in Egypt, I say 10 times more, for many reasons. Egypt is the country where
rumors
percentage-wise, most citizens make use of mobiles and more than any other country in the world.
That's true.
I congratulate them for the technological step.
And they pay a lot of money for that as well.
But this opens the way as well.
Yes, absolutely.
This is things.
Yes.
So I personally, I don't say stop it, but I personally don't have the time to try to go into the veracity of these news.
Yes, not give it more importance or more shape than it should be.
Sources which I know, and even if I want to get news sources, I know how to get that. But that means you have to work more. It will not be easy, but if you just depend on source, you like this, you like that, and you feel encouraged.
Yes.
That is very cheap. But it's dangerous, and after all,
It will
unethical.
be. Exactly. Okay. Thank you very much,
You're most
Mr.
welcome.
Volkart Venvart, the chairman of the Foreign Press Association, also a writer in Germany's biggest magazine, The Economic Week, or translated into The Economic Week, and the co-founder of Al-Multaqa Egypt, a German business correspondent. Thank you very much for your
You're most
time.
welcome.
And this brings us to the end of our episode of On the Hot Seat. Thank you very much for watching.